Right? Yeah. Hi, brothers and sisters. Look what I've got here. How exciting to get a young one and have a face-to-face talk with him to find out things. Very, very interesting. Now, we just watched a video on the Sephardic Jews coming back to Israel and all the things they say about them. And so all morning I've been writing little red squares about this video I watched. So when Mikey came over, I grabbed him so I can enjoy him. Now, I want you just to be yourself. Don't worry about anything. Say what you think or feel. So what I'm going to do now is get you to read some of my comments on that video. Now, you've got an idea of it, haven't you?
Yeah.
The video. Okay, good. So I'll just get this for you. Would it be better if you turned around a bit so they can see you reading?
Yeah.
Yes. I'll just get this set up.
Concerning the Sephardic Jews coming back to Israel, this is a violation of spiritual law and a distortion of prophecy and history. Israel was booted out of the land for violating the covenant. Yes, and all throughout that video they were talking about how, it's a prophecy coming back to the land, and we were kicked out and it's their loss, something like that. Like, and so it's ridiculous because they were kicked out for a reason. It wasn't like they were,
just overtaken by Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah,
It wasn't like that.
No, you should have got rid of them.
Yeah. Well, in the Old Testament, we refer to it as Yahuwah because he was the active one then. Then Yahusha came. So historically, we just say Yahuwah.
Yeah.
So Yahuwah was disgusted with what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It seems like they're a bit embarrassed by it. So,
they've hidden it.
Yeah.
They don't say why, do they?
Right.
They don't even mention it's just there. The Jews have been badly treated by the God they worship. They call him God. Anyway, go on. Yeah.
Israel was divorced by the Creator of life and not given access to his presence forevermore until Yahusha appeared. Israel had forfeited the covenantal agreement with wickedness and lies. And you can see those, all those lies again in the video.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just watching it. It was all just, that's not true. That's not true. Right? They twist all of it to, make it kind of their side.
Yeah.
So, anyone watching this feels remorse and sorry for them.
Yeah. It's all distorted.
Yeah, it's not at all what actually happened.
Yeah.
This was the reputation Israel was known for and went out into the world with. So of course the world persecuted her. Have you actually read her crimes against her husband? See her disrespect? And that's watching the video, it's another thing I thought of, every single place they went to, they got kicked out. And then somehow they twisting it, making it like it's not their fault.
Yeah.
If you go to somewhere and you get kicked out, and everywhere else you go to, you get kicked out, it's clearly not a problem with, where you're going, it's a problem with you.
Yeah.
And they're twisting it, trying to hide that. And
That's right.
Yeah. And with that last part, if you actually, read through the scripture and, took note of all of the, things they did.
Not mentioned.
No. They don't mention a single thing of it. Why did the Jews refer to their Alahim as God when they know him as Yahuwah? This is their deceit of association with Christianity, breaking spiritual law, calling Yahuwah God. That's another thing you mentioned, which at first I didn't really notice it, but then you pointed out, that doesn't make sense. Why are they, they're Jews, they're not Christians, right? But they're calling it God. It's not who, historically they've been Christians have always worshipped a God and Jesus and stuff.
Yeah.
Jews don't. No. It's just how it's always been. And now they're kind of getting worse.
Why do you think they're calling Yahuwah God?
I think it's probably because they want to be more accepted, right? Everyone's, out hating of everything. They're calling Yahuwah God, right?
To associate with Christianity.
Yeah. Because if you associate with them, the majority of the world is Christian Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're more closer to theirs, there's a good chance you can kind of steal people from that and bring them over. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, good. Right.
Calling Yahuwah God is an insult, understanding who God is. It means both the Jews and Christians are worshipping absolutely something that doesn't even exist. Nothingness.
Well, God is any mighty one.
Yeah.
So it's not referring to Yahuwah, the creator, is it?
Right.
It's just anything. So it's really nothing.
Yeah.
So they're worshipping nothing.
Yeah, and the fact that, they had the name and they've knowingly changed makes it even worse. Like, it's one thing to, not have it at all and, just not accept it. And then to actually accept it and then leave it makes,
Well, we got rescued when we were doing the worship with music and singing at the salon. Remember we used to have all those meetings?
Yeah.
And then Shodan, he said that's worshipping the same as the Christians do. That's called the house of the dead. So you're taking people back into the house of the dead with the false worship.
Yeah.
So we thought, oh, how wonderful is that? Thank you, Shodan. And so we walked out, we stopped it, because it's not how you worship, which you find out as you go on.
Today, the Jews are renowned for their political, powerful, and wealthy stance globally. They still proclaim a position of superiority over all nations as the chosen people of God who does not exist. Yeah.
Well, God doesn't exist.
No.
It's nothing. And they all worship.
Oh, nothing. Yeah.
So that's why they're not happy, isn't it?
And when watching the video, it said at one point that they everywhere they went, they started up their thing again, and that's another
the same old false worship they were kicked out.
Yeah, they don't want to change.
They don't want to face it. They've been humiliated by their creator, so they call him God instead of Yahuwah.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit mad.
Bit mad. They're serious.
The position the Jews hold over the nations today is a lie and a violation of spiritual laws. People who enter the vein or veil of Yahusha are his chosen bride, apart from what the Jews are declaring. Yeah, so they're, always, they don't like to change. Something I've noticed. They always, even though throughout Scripture, they've been given warnings and told it's wrong, and they'll say something and then they don't change, and this is what it's always been. And so they've kind of done that, but then they've gone even worse into it by growing and trying to take back the chosen land. It's all theirs, and they do kind of have that superiority complex kind of thing. Because they think they're the chosen people. It's obvious. Anyone who reads the scripture, you don't even need to, read it that in depth and have Yahusha to be able to see they were kicked out.
Yeah.
For everything they've done, it's the entire thing is about how they were kicked out, and what Yahusha had to do to fix it. Yahuwah had to do to fix what they had done.
Yeah.
Because they just couldn't stop.
Well, he destroyed their temple.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, amazing temple, the most amazing thing. And that was all the gold and everything was taken by Nebuchadnezzar, because he was the head of gold. Remember that vision?
Yeah.
The head of gold and all the different metals down and clay and iron at the feet. Yeah. So he was that. He loved gold. Everything was gold in his place. Babylon. So he was sent by Yahuwah to destroy the temple. So and that means he's cut them off from his presence.
Yeah.
He left the temple before this happened. His presence was taken out, and they still kept their false worship going, and they didn't even know that he'd gone. And the whole point of the tabernacle in the wilderness and David's tabernacle and then Solomon's temple was his presence. And that wasn't even there, and they didn't even know because they were so unclean. They just lost. They mixed all the worship, with all the pagans around them, all the sexual rituals, and they combined that in the worship of Yahuwah.
Yeah.
How does he feel about that?
Hates it.
Yeah.
And they want to bring that back. They think that was...
Well, it's still carrying it. They still got all that with them. You know that, what's that city in Jerusalem where everyone goes, where all the gays are? It's the biggest gay community in the world. Can't remember. One of the major cities there. And that's all combined in it.
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing back then. So they're still carrying all that stuff. And they want to bring, anyway, go on, you'll find out what the point is.
Do you think the Jews are looking for more like the women on the beast?
Do you think the Jews are looking more like the woman?
Do you think the Jews are looking more like the woman on the beast? Or the beast? Bringing all religions and nations under her doctrines of nothingness. Is her deceit to bring everything to nothing? Yeah, I mean, that's what they worship. They worship nothing. And they're trying to get everyone in on it. Like, they go around, and in the video, that's what they said, they were, when they were kind of stranded and, trying to go everywhere, they were always trying to get more people in on it and trying to, share it with the world like it's some great thing they have to share. Really, they're just getting more people into all the sin.
So, out of your eyes, as a young man in society, you know that in the last days it's going to be like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
It's going to be filthy like all that was, like they're still carrying on with.
Yeah.
So when you look out of your eyes, can you see that influencing many young people around you?
Definitely, yeah.
And how do you feel looking at it?
I think it's sad, it's disappointing to see, all these people who could have, done more and, been in Yahusha and done the right thing because of, people in the past, what they've kind of sown down the generations.
It's true.
Now, the younger people today are, you look at them, they're the worst out of everyone.
How do you feel watching your brother go that way?
I think it's really disappointing. Obviously, I can't really just change his mind at this point. He has to see it and understand what he's doing.
But you're going to maintain your love and belief in front of him.
Yeah.
And he's tried to get you to take a seat in the back. He wants you there because you're the prime cutter, but he still wants you not to have anything to do with him. So he's hiding from you, doesn't want you to see him, but you can already see him anyway. It's not a big area, is it?
No. I think he's a bit embarrassed by it. Because he's
embarrassed by himself.
Yeah.
What he's doing, what he's thinking, how he's feeling. He thinks he's free.
Yeah.
But can you see freedom and joy and happiness in him? Yeah. Very sad. What do you think of that, brothers and sisters? Here's a young man in the world out there working. He's left school because he doesn't do much. And so he's out there working and he's still maintaining his belief. He works in a big shop where they make pizzas and things like that, and he's the prime cutter. And he's seeing all these things going on around, and yet he's still maintaining his belief in Yahusha. How wonderful is that, brothers and sisters? I'm so grateful to sit here with Mikey and, learn from him. So let's go on to the next one.
This information is a fast-tracked view into our very short future left. The wealthy Jews want everyone globally to worship at their new temple about to be erected for their God who is non-existent. Yeah, this is again like he destroyed their temple for a reason, to show them, because they couldn't feel it, or they didn't even realize when he had actually left. And so he got the temple destroyed to show them that he's gone, and they don't want to accept it. They want to build a new one so they can say, this is our land.
He will never come into that temple, will he? So what are they going to have to do to try and prove that he is?
They have to fake it.
And what do you think they do to fake it?
I think they do anything.
Holograms?
Yeah. They do all of it.
Yeah.
Make up everything,
Well, that's coming on the world, and the world doesn't know why they were kicked out of the land, and they'll be drawn into it.
Yeah.
To go and worship nothing and go to their death.
Yeah.
That's Satan's plan. This is a deceit. What do you think?
I mean, these days, if you look at the world out there, the more big and extravagant and exciting you can make something look, the more people you can get. That's what people are looking for. Because they're trying to
get high.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to recreate the happiness and the joy that you would feel from Yahusha, because you can't feel it out there in the world without him.
No.
And so they go to all these big fancy big parties and everything to try and feel that, and then once it's over, it's worse than they were before.
Yeah.
And so if they go recreate this whole temple and then make it huge and big holograms, stuff like that, like you were saying, it's going to attract even more people so they can feel that high.
And why do you think they want to do that in the world?
Because then they have more power. The more people you have under you, if everyone wants to go to that one place and they have control over it, they have control over all those people as well.
That's right. And they want to make their temple and their God real.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do. And they're going to have to trick everyone, aren't they?
Yeah.
They want all the world to recognize them as the chosen people.
Yeah.
And so we'll be all
under that.
Unless we go along with their doctrines and stuff.
The presence of Yahuwah was in David's tabernacle, then in Solomon's temple, until the chosen's behavior became abominable. They thought they could add and subtract to their worship. Yeah, like you were saying, they're mixing in all the worldly stuff into what they're doing. And they think it's normal because it's happened, over time. And so that feeling that they originally had, with David's tabernacle and the temple originally, it slowly went away. It didn't because, if you, lost that entire feeling you get from Yahusha straight away, you'd notice that. But over time, it slowly went away.
How do you feel knowing this, Mikey?
I think it's sad. They had so many opportunities to fix it, and they chose to just make it worse and do even more stuff.
So you're sad for them.
Yeah.
But how do you feel knowing the truth of it?
I think
because it could be very confusing for a new person, a young person coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this?
I think it's definitely they definitely try and hide this kind of thing. It needs to be brought out more. People need to know.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Letting them know.
If they don't know, if this isn't shared, that's how they get more people. Because everyone thinks, what they're doing is right.
Yeah.
It's clearly not.
We have no desire to gather people because we're in our homes, in our quarries. We're all in our quarries, at the moment. But we're not. We just want to use the internet to get this out, so they have the knowledge, so they can go into the 𝐕𝐈𝐑.
Oh, vein. Yeah.
Through the veil into the vein.
Yeah.
And I've said, you probably don't know, but there's like a wormhole behind the veil. You know, the veil that was rent in the temple? Yahusha opened the door for people to come into his presence so we can enter in through the narrow gate, you know.
Yeah.
So, what was I saying? Hey?
There's a wormhole.
Yeah, there's a wormhole on the other side of the veil, drawing everybody in the world to the knowledge of what the narrow gate is.
Yeah.
And that wormhole is drawing, and people come to see, and they say, okay, yeah, well, I'm going this way. So they go back onto the other path to destruction. You know, but he's drawing everything in the world is going to be drawn into that wormhole. Everything man's made is just going to be destroyed at the end with fire. Anyway, go on.
Of course, this mixture of worship defiled the people. Of course, this mixture of worship defiled the people, the land, and the true worship. Therefore, they were divorced and scattered. Don't believe their distorted versions of prophecy. Yes, it's, you know, again, they at the start of the video, like, there's a big prophecy that's being fulfilled. All these people are coming back to the, you know, the land. It's not at all what happened.
So how clever are the wealthy Jews running all this to lead all these people and telling them they were Jews? Well, sad news, everybody. Noah was a Jew, wasn't he? Noah's Ark. Noah was a Jew, wasn't he? Yeah. So he had 8 people with him, and from that we have billions in the earth. So are we all Jews?
Yeah.
Is that where we come from?
Technically,
We don't follow, some don't follow this teaching, but we're all eventually Jews. So what's the problem?
it makes no sense. You know, it's just about power. They want power of everyone.
They do.
By making them look like they're superior.
That's it. And that's a wicked priesthood, and those ruling and supplying it all, the money, they're the ones who are doing this. They want to be lifted up because Yahusha squashed them and kicked them out, you know, as worthless. And they just are so furious they can't get over it still, after centuries. Nearly 2,000 years or 2,500 years ago this happened, and they're still coming back.
Yeah, it's madness. They can't accept that they've done wrong. They were given all these chances to fix it, they chose not to, and now they don't.
They won't have that they're wrong.
Yeah.
You can see by the video,
Yeah.
can't you? What was just preached.
They think everything they've done was the right choice and the right thing to do.
And everyone else is?
Wrong. Evil.
What chance do the young people have
None.
when they see all this? If they see it. Yeah.
It's very disappointing because, you know, they're going out of their way to kind of ruin it for everyone else because they've lost it and they won't accept it.
So what do you think's in them when you see? How do you explain it? Satan.
Evil, yeah.
Evil. Well, you know, when we're born, we've got a seed of corruption in us. It's going to take us to our death if we don't repent and get the seed of incorruption. It can't be corrupted. Looks like you've got that seed in you. Eh? You're not going to go away, are you? I'm going to go back. Okay, let's go on.
Yahusha fulfilled all relevant prophecies according to time. He said, "Your body is now the temple."
So when Yahusha came, he fulfilled all the prophecies about the Messiah. Right?
Yeah. He said, "Your body is now the temple. Worship me in spirit and in truth." All temple procedures have become spiritual behaviors. And if they want to rebuild this temple, like he's told, you know, you don't need a temple to, you know, worship me, and be, you know, you don't need a temple to have me there anymore.
Because our body
is different.
That's it.
They don't want to accept that though, because what power and what control do they have if they don't have a big temple that everyone wants to go to? Like that temple is kind of like the center of how they'll try to gather the world around, how to like control it now. Because if everyone wants to go there, then again they have all that power over them.
That's it.
They just don't want to accept that. It's not needed.
Well, constantly it comes from everywhere to deceive us to go their way. We have the choice. We've got the free will, and we can choose yay or nay.
Yeah. Yahusha transitioned temple worship into bodily behaviors, doing spiritual sacrifices. This is our true worship of Yahusha, not God. Be aware of the deceit the Jews bring back, false worship. So yes, they're trying to bring everyone in to this thing that's apparently so amazing and everything. It's not. They just don't want to accept it, that they've lost what they originally had, and they're being tossed out and left in the dark.
I think they'll be bringing it in cartoon form and game form through AI as well, talking about the temple and the power that comes down, and they're going to fill the mindset of all the youth, and they will give it to the oldies, and they're all realising about the Jews and their temple and what it means and his presence, which will never happen because Yahusha said, who is Alahim himself, your body is a temple. If you want me to dwell in, you've got to repent and get the spiritual and fire baptism. Not necessarily the water. That was an old tradition that went by the way. So we go straight through the veil, through the narrow gate, to meet him. Don't we? And we know him. And he's lovely and gentle and warm, isn't he? Inside you can feel that, can't you?
Yeah.
And so you've been through the vein of the two baptisms. You've been delivered because you can see and you're talking about what's wrong and what's right, and you see and you understand. Now you're in the, what's the next step? Yeah, you're in the quarry, take the final chips and rubbing, smoothing out.
Yeah.
And you're preparing, he's preparing us to be lively stones to be put in the New Jerusalem.
Yeah.
That's literally what's going on in this world, and it's amazing. Is there another one?
Yeah. I guess I could go with the last one, yeah. The false worship of the Jews had them expelled from the land in humiliation, and they still carry them both today. Yahuwah will never show his presence in their new temple because the form is unclean. Yeah, so they're embarrassed. They don't want to accept that they've been kicked out.
They're not embarrassed, they're arrogant.
Yeah.
They're furious
Yeah.
that this has happened to them. They just do not accept it because they are who they think they are, the chosen. And they've lied about everything behind them.
Yeah. If they accept this, then all that stuff that, they've put themselves above everyone else.
They're not going to accept what we believe, that the body's a temple. They will not have that.
Because then they have no power.
So what does that tell you about how many people will be left?
Very few. With the way things are going, if it's not the Jews, Catholics or Christians, everyone's getting drawn into something. It's all always the wrong thing. Very few people actually, looking for, even when they're into something like that, like very few people are looking for the right thing, and want, they can feel how wrong it is. Because, like, none of the things they do make sense. Like, all the old traditions and stuff, and even watching the video, they said that everywhere they went, they did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, over the course of years, did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't work the first time, maybe it'll work the second time or the third time. It didn't, and then you keep out. Yeah, so they just go somewhere else. What happens when they run out of places to go? They do this. They go create whatever they want.
And that's their own temple with their own form of worship. Isn't it amazing that they're actually doing it, proving to the dumb public that everything they do is in order, yet it's been taught, it's not wanted. So if you look at Yahusha or Yahuwah on the throne, this is before Yahusha came, and he's looking down and they're worshipping with sex and animals and worshipping him, mixing his truth with all that. How do you think he feels?
Disgusted.
And he loved them, didn't he? He loved them so much as a wife.
Yeah, I mean, they were his chosen people. And they betrayed him like that.
Yeah.
They tried to, twist everything for their own personal gain.
Yeah.
Instead of accepting Yahusha, Yahuwah, and praising him and giving to him. They just wanted everything for themselves. They were selfish, corrupt.
Yeah, that's it. He told us, I forget who it was, Isaiah or someone, married a prostitute. He had to marry a prostitute, and what he went through is the same as what Yahuwah went through with his people. Oh, it's amazing. When you think about it, the hurt, the heartache, the torment, living under that, So, when we look at this, and we're talking about the quarry, you had an experience the other night about the quarry, what's going on in the quarry, yeah?
Yeah.
Being a young man, not knowing all that was going on, what do you think about the quarry situation, the home? What do you think?
I think it can be very challenging, because obviously...
Well, I think the quarry is meant to be...
Yeah.
You've got to be dug out of the earth, and then you've got to be smoothed out and chipped. All the chips have to come off. That would hurt. You're a lively stone. So what did you see going on with them?
It's not what it seems.
Yeah. Like the Jews, hide it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it I didn't know was actually happening.
And what did you feel when you found out that that was a truth?
Felt really bad, yeah.
Why did you feel bad? You're not doing it, or you're part of it a bit, but
Well, because it's happening, and I wasn't really doing anything to help stop it from
but you
happening.
didn't know.
Yeah.
You just said, oh, this is horrible, what's happening.
Yeah.
But you didn't know what or why, because it was hidden from you to keep you.
Yeah.
If it was me, I would speak out. You know that, don't you? If it was me, I would say, this has got to stop, or what?
Yeah.
If you could do that too.
Yeah.
This has got to stop, we can't have this, this is not right. Coming from you, it could help.
Yeah.
If you see it, Victor said they were very happy today.
No.
Oh, that's good.
Well, yeah, I definitely think that's been, personally from what I've seen since then, it's been a bit of a change. I haven't seen as much tension or anything as there usually is. I'm definitely trying to...
That's the truth. Truth coming in.
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's hard to have to go through that, isn't it? In the quarry, the home is the quarry, and you're confronted with that not knowing. And all this is what's behind it.
Yeah.
Pushing knowledge, wisdom. It's all worldly. It's not part of Yahusha, not the spiritual laws that He's given to us. Love your neighbour, love Him. It's a whole different thing, isn't it, going on? So you can see they're going through a transformation. Yeah, they're being transformed. Yeah, metamorphed into something else that's going to be sweet, lovely, and nice. You know, coming from all that, what we're all subjected to, into being as real and kind and honest and gentle as you can. That's where we have to get to, so that when he comes, we put his name on our forehead, we're right, we're safe, which isn't long. What do you think about the 18 months, possibly that amount of time? You know why we say that? Because you've got 3.5 years that was stopped, 7-year prophecy that was stopped in Daniel. Then it started up recently. We don't know how long ago it was that it started up, but everybody's talking about all this. A lot of people globally are talking about all this now. So it has started the last 3.5 years, about 7-year prophecy. So the last 3.5 years. And we've got a gap. From when it started, we don't know actually, but the time the 3.5 years started, he said, if he doesn't come before the end of the 3.5 years, nobody will be left. So you've got to take some off the end, some off the beginning. And when we found out about this, it was 2.5 years, 3 years. Now it's down to 18 months.
Yeah, so I mean,
what does that do to you?
I get it. Like after seeing, you know, all that's happening, there won't be anything left to come back for, because the way things are going, everyone's going to be into all this kind of stuff, all that they're getting led into by them, and so it's definitely.
You have the truth. Do you think you should be making more effort towards your generation to wake them up?
Oh yeah.
How would you go about doing that with this information you've got?
Make little squares like you are.
Well, good.
Yeah, I could.
All sorts of things, just put them out. How you feeling in the day? This happened, blah, 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 and just share it. Share it. Bring it into the reality. Yeah?
Yeah.
I think you could. You know, that would be absolutely great, because as a young man, people are going to take note that you have this understanding, you have this knowledge, and then it's called wisdom. Once you appropriate it, you activate it. You know, so it's no good just having this, is it?
No.
You could be a voice that could be heard for the youth of the world. You never know what will happen. So you just go in there with the feeling you've got now, the person that you are. You know you're called, you're chosen, you're free, you're delivered. You tell them the way out. It's really just from the entering into the narrow gate. Yahusha said, you know, follow me. So we go in there and we have the experience of the spirit and fire baptism. They work together, bring you to a certain place, and you tumble out in the quarry, where you get smoothed out and chipped. And you give yourself, when something happens, so, okay, what am I going to do here? Like you talk to him, and he's really lovely and kind and understanding. All you have to do is get yourself to the point where you just, yes, I can talk to Yahusha. He will hear me, he will listen. And he will feed you what he wants you to say. Like I'm just sitting there all day doing this. I haven't finished the story yet. I'll tell you now, Marky, I haven't finished the story yet. So there's more to come. Yeah, so wonderful. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that might make a difference. There's no one else doing it.
There's no one in the world your age doing this. What do you think being first?
Yeah.
Hey, serving Yahusha. And what you do is called a sacrifice. A sacrifice, like they used to put the bulls on the altar in the old worship. Sacrifice of yourself. He said, put yourself on the altar, as a living sacrifice. So your words and what you're saying are a sacrifice. You're serving, you're worshipping Him in your being. It's so simple, I think.
Yeah, I definitely do that. I mean, it would definitely reach a lot of people, and I feel like it could make a difference.
Oh, right. Be wonderful. Well, brothers and sisters, that's the end of our little video. Wasn't it great talking with Micah? Isn't he clever? 16 and knows all this. Oh, what's going to happen? Love you. Bye.